Hello, welcome to Between the Weights. We're continuing our series talking about the Spartan way and the different virtues in there, right? The attributes that are going to help us succeed, right? And this is turning into quite a big series. This is like the fifth video that we're kind of on that same track, right? And then just to kind of review the things, to begin with, we need to have a direction, right, that we're headed. And we find that direction by deciding what our true north is. And our true north is something that we want so bad that it's not ever going to change, right? It doesn't ever deviate. It's never going to go anywhere, right? And once we know what that thing is that we want so bad that we're willing to do anything for, we start making commitments towards those things, right? And now, so our first thing is to be self-aware and to choose a true north. Second one is making commitments, right? Today, we're talking about enthusiasm and passion, okay? So in between those two things, we talked about resistance. And the idea that as soon as we've identified our true north, as soon as we've made any sort of commitment to move ourselves in a positive direction towards that true north, there is a real force that exists that's going to try to prevent us from getting there, right? So, and Steven Pressfield, in several of his books, referred to that force, whether it's procrastination or deciding that you're too busy, all of these things, right? He titled that stuff resistance. And so we talked about what resistance is and where it comes from and how to not let it affect you, right? And then we talked about being a professional in your life, right? Turning Pro is really a second book from Steven Pressfield that we're using as our motivation for the video, right? So talking about not just being an amateur, not just sitting on the bleachers in our own life, but actually participating and being a pro, doing the things that you imagine any sort of professional does in their life. And we used an athlete for our example, right? If you wanted to make it to the NBA, you got to do the things that are going to get you there, right? Which is like shooting baskets every day. Whether or not you had a really good day shooting baskets, you show up every day and you shoot more baskets. And you just kind of let a bad day slide off because you know that it's moving you towards where you're trying to be, right? You're becoming a professional. You're not being so emotional about the things that you know you need to do in order to turn pro in your life. So today is the third one. We're talking about enthusiasm and passion. They kind of like are synonymous with each other, right? So if your true north is something that you really want, right? We know resistance is going to hit us pretty hard. So it's going to be difficult to get us there. So what is going to help on the daily sort of trudge to get to where we're trying to go is whether or not we're actually passionate, we're actually enthusiastic about getting there, right? We've got energy and we're just super pumped, right? And we're not going to be the word dissuaded. We're not going to be discouraged when we have a rough day. And what's going to get us through the rough days is if we're just super jazzed, right, about what we're trying to do. So there's been lots of studies on like whether it's intrinsic and extrinsic motivations and all these things, right? And there's little like, I don't know if you want to call it like cheats, but it's tactics, we can call methods that you can use to stay positive, right? Just keep your enthusiasm up so that you can keep heading towards your goal, right? So one of those things is to fake your enthusiasm. There's been studies that like just getting in a posture that makes you like bigger and like take up more space versus a posture where you're kind of huddled up and taking as little space as possible, right? That when you take, they call it a power pose, right? When you take a power pose, your cortisol levels and your testosterone levels go up, so you feel more confident, you feel more powerful, right? Whether or not you actually do. So just kind of getting this like pose, like Superman's pose, right? With your feet real wide and your hands on your hips, looking up to the sky like you're going to conquer the world, right? Will actually make you feel more powerful, right? And that's the way we can help. Another one is to talk to yourself in third person. And when you're giving yourself motivation, to have that motivation come from a third person. And even stronger is if you can hear that motivation in an actual third person's voice, right? Talking to you in your head saying, you can do it, Ryan, don't stop, just keep moving your feet, right? If I can hear that in my head, then we'll be more motivated, right? And so if you talk to yourself in your head in third person, it changes slightly just the way that it seems like someone else is telling us that we can do it, right? That you're able to accomplish this thing. And if that voice is someone that you care about, like if you hear your son's voice or your sister's voice or your mom's voice, someone's voice that you know that cares about you in your head, it improves, it just helps a bunch. I forget the next ones. Hold on. So there another way that they talk about enthusiasm on, this is kind of more of an on a daily thing, is getting fired up or getting pumped up, right? Like there's a reason the football teams get in a huddle and start making a bunch of noise and getting riled up, right? There's a reason that when you're in a gym and people are lifting really heavy, that they're playing really loud, enthusiastic music that are getting them fired up for the thing that they're trying to do, right? I mean, it's been proven, it actually works, that you can be motivated from outside sources like a really awesome rocky music, right? Or just doing something to get you like pumped. You can do things that get you excited, right? Then the last one to help you stay motivated is to visualize yourself already accomplishing the thing, right? So if we set up towards our big main goal, right? We've got a bunch of smaller commitments we've got set up, and in those smaller commitments, we're creating ourselves. We're able to have like daily wins, right? And even within the day, we can break that up into smaller wins, right? And if you can see yourself already accomplishing the task, already being successful, if you can close your eyes and see yourself already losing 30 pounds, it's easier for you to stay on track. It's easier for you in those hard moments when you really just want a donut. If you can visualize yourself already have lost the 30 pounds, it becomes easier to do the things that are going to get you to the weight loss that you're looking for, right? So seeing that in your head, visualizing you already crossing the finish line is going to help you continue to be passionate and enthusiastic about the goals that you're trying to accomplish, right? Thanks for your time. See you next week.